Hello world of YouTube and welcome to another Top 11. This is part 2 of my console retrospective where I'm going through each of the consoles I grew up on and listing my top 11 favorite games from each console. This is part 2 where I'm going to lay out the Nintendo 64. If you would like to check out part 1 where I cover the Sega Genesis, it is linked in the under thingy and on screen now. But while that's on screen, I'm going to talk a little bit about this puppy. My Nintendo 64, my original N64. I've had this thing since I was a kid, and truth be told, I can't completely explain how I got this thing, because I don't remember. It's been that long. I think I got it for Christmas, maybe my birthday. All I know is that it was the purple controller bundle, you know, the one with the clear purple controller. That's what that was. Love this thing. It's been with me through thick and thin. And sans RPGs, because there's only like a few RPGs on the console that people like anyway, or just in general. I feel like the Nintendo 64, is one of the best console game lineups ever. I love this console's lineup, and I feel like it has some of the best games of certain genres, and some ones that really set some really good standards that people still follow to this day. With that being said, this list was extremely hard to make, and I'm not going to name the honorable mentions. I'm just going to tell you some stuff that isn't on there that you might think is on there. One, no Mario games. There's no Mario games on this list. I know this seems a little weird, but there are none. There's at least one that got really, really close. It'd be like number 12 if I did top 12s, and that's Mario Party 2. Because I love Mario Party 2. It's my favorite Mario Party. It's a fantastic game. The mini-games from one that are brought over from one are perfected. The boards are better. I love the costume idea. It's a great game. And I know what you're thinking, well, what about Paper Mario? I've never played a Paper Mario game. I intend to someday, but I've never played a Paper Mario game, so that's not on this list. I never played Banjo-Kazooie, so that's not on this list. And that's really the big ones. Those are the big ones that I never played, and that's why they're not on the list. With that being said, let's cut the bullshit. Let's get to my list. These are my top 11 Nintendo 64 games.
Number 11. Gauntlet Legends. Gauntlet Legends. Gauntlet Legends. This game, to me, is one of my favorites on the N64, and I know it's ported to other consoles, but I feel like it works the best here because of the 4-player dynamic. Granted, it was ported to the Dreamcast, but we're not going to talk about that. This version of the game is so true to its arcade counterpart. It's a lot like the arcade port, but you don't need quarters. And I think that that's what makes it work so well. And while it is fun on your own, that group dynamic of having people with you is also extremely, extremely fun. Hell, I think that's why it's one of my most, in fact, I think it's my most viewed Let's Play on the channel to date. Sorry, by the way, that it hasn't been finished yet. There have been a lot of scheduling issues and people have even moved away at this point. I don't know if it'll be finished anytime soon. I'm sorry! Either way, it's a fun game. Really fun. Lots of great worlds, and it's just a fantastic port of the arcade classic. Number 10. Yeah, this game's on here. I know it seems a little weird, but I played this game a lot as a kid, and I still love going and playing this game with people. Obviously, I did a Let's Compete of this game with my mom, but this game isn't just fun with friends. It's fun by yourself, going through the worlds and seeing how hard the game actually gets, or just playing it classic Tetris style with an endurance mode, seeing how many lines you can get before you either die or win. It's a simple concept of Tetris turned on its head, and it's really, really fun. Plus, that opening song is just so good. I wish that there was more music in this game because it's lacking in the music department. I mean, Tetris only had the 3 songs, but that opening theme bodes itself to something great, and it doesn't pay off with anything else, which is really my biggest gripe with the game. Other than that, it's a great spin on a classic puzzle game. Number 9. Yeah, you're starting to see a theme here. Really somewhat obscure games on this list. There are some more popular ones coming up, but this game, Star Wars Shadows of the Empire, is a game that I'm currently LPing. You should check it out. But this game is great. Like I say in the LP, it's one of the first Star Wars games I ever played, and definitely one of the first ones I ever watched played to completion. But this game plays out like a Star Wars film and is in fact based on something within the film mythos, which really fascinates me. You interact with multiple characters from the films and have a really fun time doing so. This game mixes up its control schemes and play styles throughout, and that's really fresh. And the game itself immerses you in some really fun environments, backed by a score that I'm pretty sure was done by John Williams. So it's pretty much you playing a Star Wars film, and that's awesome. And apparently, the book is really good too, because Eric checked it out thanks to my LP, and he really recommends it. So you should check it out. Do some readings. Readings are good. But overall, this game is fun. Really, really fun. Great level design, great story, overall enjoyable experience. Very enjoyable. Number 8! My first rare game on the list, and certainly not the last. Diddy Kong Racing is honestly, in my opinion, the best racer on the N64. And there's many reasons as to why. Because this console had a lot of great racers, but this one excels in so many things. And it has a really great cast of characters that both reintroduced one of the Donkey Kong franchise's most beloved characters, and introduces a lot of future beloved characters in the veins of Banjo, Tip Top, and Conker, who I obviously love to play as. But this game also has a really fun universe. I remember exploring this world for hours at a time when I was a kid and loving the experience. I love the variety of vehicles and think they all handle really well, and I love the variety of worlds, along with the really fun boss battles that have rather interesting dialogue and kind of weirdly voiced dialogue, but still fun to play nonetheless. The pacing of this game is brilliant and the music is fantastic. This game is just the pinnacle of kart racing overall, in my opinion, but definitely the best on this console, hands down. It's fun both by yourself and with friends. Oh, also it has power-ups, like upgradable power-ups, which is really cool. Number 7. Oh, look at that. It's another rare game on this list, and not the last one either. Perfect Dark is a fantastic game. It acts as a spiritual successor to Rare's most popular game, GoldenEye, but is actually still fun to play. Trust me, if you go back and play GoldenEye, you'll see that it's plagued by horrible controls. Abysmally horrible controls, and Rare improved upon that with this game. The controls in this game aren't as frustrating, and it shows. I had a lot more fun playing and recording this than I did the little bit I got for GoldenEye for this list. I think that GoldenEye is still fun, but only for nostalgic purposes. This is still a fundamentally great game. Plus, I kind of like that it has an original story. I love following Joanna Dark and seeing what she encounters along her various missions. Meeting Elvis, the president, and actually having to act like a spy. One of my biggest problems with GoldenEye and that I'm realizing is that you didn't do a whole lot of spying. In this game, you spy, you get disguises, you have to be careful. You can't just run and gun every room because you will die and fail. Granted, there were some things like that in GoldenEye, but it didn't seem as dire. This game had a lot more situations like that. And overall, this game just improved on GoldenEye tenfold. And I'm glad to see that it was ported to the Xbox 360 with better controls and online multiplayer, because Perfect Dark is one of the best multiplayers in this console's lifespan, and actually has some really good throwbacks to GoldenEye as well. It's a fun game, and honestly, the best first-person shooter on the console. Number 6. If you can't tell, I have a bit of an affinity for rare games. This game, Donkey Kong 64, is just amazing. It expands upon the foundation set forth platforming-wise in Donkey Kong Country while adding new characters, new power-ups, new worlds, and really fun and exciting ways to get these bananas. This game is just brilliant. Overall, it's fantastic. The music in this game, the epitome of the franchise and one of my favorite soundtracks of all time. Grant Kirkhope outdid himself here. The songs are catchy, atmospheric and grand as all get out. The bananas are fun to get, the worlds are fun to explore, the Kongs are fun to play as, and everything is just fun to use. This game is fun. My only big gripe with it is that the multiplayer is kind of lackluster. It feels kind of tacked on, and plus I'm doing a Let's Play of it, which you should really check out because it's really cool, and I'm doing a 100% run of it. Number 5!
Mischief Makers!
Hey, look at that! It's a non-rare game. But wait a minute. It's a bit of an obscure game.
Aren't I being a little hipstery with this list? No.
But I do think this game is a bit of an underrated gem in the console's lifespan. It's made by Treasure, for people that made Gunstar Heroes and Stretch Panic. But this game follows Marina and the Professor. I actually did a Let's Play of this game, so you should go check it out. But it's one of my first Let's Plays, so it's a little on the poor side, but I still endorse it. I do most of the game. Either way, this game, what makes this game great is that it's unique. It's weird, it's strange. It's very pacifist yet non-pacifist. You spend the whole game shaking shit and punching these little weird ball dudes. And it's fun. It's weird, but fun. The worlds are strangely crafted, but not complicated, for the most part. And figuring out the mechanics and mastering them is part of what makes this game great. I love the strange dialogue, I love the strange atmosphere, and I love the strange music. This game is just really strange, and when I played it as a kid, I couldn't help but be addicted to its strange nature. It's just a oddball of a game that I really recommend to anyone that wants to play one of the weirdest games for the console, hands down. The controls are weird, everything about this game is just weird. It's a weird game, but it's great. Number 4.
It's what I call a bad fur day.
Oh, look at that. It's another rare game on the list. Yeah, but it's the last one, I swear. Now, why I think, one of the many reasons why I think this is Rare's best game is because it does something that modern games try to do a lot nowadays. Make their games cinematic. But this game does it so fantastically well. It's basically a comedy film that you play through. And I know that seems kind of strange and kind of bad, like it would be a bad game, but it's far from it. It has tons of breaking the fourth wall jokes. It's chock full of movie parodies, some of which I wasn't discovering until last year. And it's just a great, well-written, well-performed game whose controls aren't terrible either. It's not immersive to the point that it feels clunky. It works on a level that a lot of atmospheric games and cinematic games need to get down pat. It features a lot of different game modes, but it's really fun. It's fun to control Drunk Conquer. It's fun to control Conquer with guns. But the game is just, it's fun and cinematic. And the cinematicness doesn't make the gameplay horrible. Plus, it has the best multiplayer on the console. The multiplayer in this game has so many different game modes and so many different gameplay styles that it could make for an entire party of games. Like, you could just make a party and play this game and you'd be set for a few hours. It's a really great game that I think everyone should experience at least once in their life. It's a bit crude, it's a bit, immature at times, but it's a fantastic game nonetheless. And it's definitely the best game Rare has ever made. Number 3. You could have probably guessed that this was going to be on this list, and if you are like, but we know what your number 1 is because it's your favorite game of all time. Well, yeah, and this is also on here, because I don't believe in one franchise per list, blah, 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 because I feel like that hinders someone's opinion. But either way, semantics aside, Majora's Mask, what makes it so great, if you didn't know? Well, aside from being a really good Zelda game, and beautifully dark and atmospheric without shoving it in your face and being, oh, we're dark and edgy, it doesn't seem repetitive even though you're playing through the same 3 days over and over again. The plentiful amount of side quests that can take you all throughout the world are very inventive. The temples themselves are really great and expand on some of the gameplay puzzle mechanics set forth in Ocarina of Time. It's a great expansion of that engine and has really, really great music. Time's End is Koji Kono's best piece, hands down. And overall, this game is just fantastic. It's got great environments, a really good cast of characters, and some really well-constructed dark overtones that make it one of the best Zelda games of all time. Number 2. The game's so nice, I opened it twice. Yes, you could have probably assumed that this game was going to be on this list. Starfox 64 is hands down one of the most replayable games on this console. And that's because it's just a bunch of short bursts of entertainment. You go to a planet, you shoot stuff. You go to a planet, you shoot more stuff. You find secrets occasionally, and you listen to some really good dialogue that's amazingly quotable. This game is just great. Plain and simple. It's a simplistically fun game that has some really well-designed planets that just look really good. You encounter some really good, colorful characters, and the game itself is just balls to the wall awesome. Plus, the music is great, and the entire game is just awesome. Again, I've LP'd it twice, so you should watch one of those, but it's a great game. And I've sung to my praises on there more. Really, the only biggest downfall with this game is its multiplayer, because it's fun, but not the go-to game for multiplayer on this console. There's many better multiplayers on this console, I should say. But other than that, it's a brilliant game, damn near perfect. Number 1. Yep. This is probably one of the most obvious choices for this point on any list. But god damn it, this is my favorite game of all time. I love this game. I've played it the most out of any Zelda game. This is probably my favorite 3D Zelda game. Well, it is my favorite 3D Zelda game, my favorite Zelda game of all time. But this just does everything so well. It has the right number of temples. They give you the right amount of challenge with the right amount of open world and the amazingly perfect amount of music. Music in this game is fantastic. The foundation it set forth for 3D Zelda games is so well placed. The bar that it put this franchise at was so great. And just everything about this game is awesome. While Link to the Past crafted the story that Ocarina of Time borrowed, Ocarina of Time perfected it. I love, again, the characters in this game. I've talked about characters a lot in this list, but I love the characters in this game. I love all of the temples. I love all of the bosses. I love all of the exploring, all of the side quests, all of the everything. This game is just amazing, and I love playing through it, and I'm excited to do my Let's Play of it.
And that's it. That's my list. If you disagree with it, feel free to let me know why. I'm sure some of you have a problem with some of my lists, and I completely understand. This list might be a little bit polarizing, might seem a little weird, but these are the games that I really grew up playing a lot of, and I mean, like I said, there was a lot of games that I had to take off of this list that just barely close. Mario Party 2 is the big one, but there's a couple others that really came close. They clutched. They were really close to getting on the list, but they didn't make it. So yeah, that's my list though. Hopefully you enjoyed it, my presentation of said list, and I'm gonna get out of here. The part 3 to this is actually the Nintendo 64's competitor. It is the PlayStation 1. That's the next list for this top 11 retrospective, so come back for that. Hopefully you are again enjoyed this list, and hopefully you're well. Hoping you're well. But I've been ViralRak. You guys have good days, lives, and situations, and I'll see you another day.